military, the oceans have become immense ramps for the launching of nuclear weapons.
Let me paint a vivid picture for you. The real danger lurking in the ocean depths isn't some fantastical sea monster or mythical creature. No, it's a massive nuclear submarine, a true beast of the deep. Imagine, as you're enjoying a peaceful day at the beach, swimming or boating, this colossal vessel is gliding silently beneath the surface, undetected. It carries a cargo so powerful that it could obliterate an entire continent in a heartbeat. Thermonuclear weapons capable of unimaginable destruction. This submarine can lie in wait on the ocean floor for an entire year, completely unseen, just waiting for its orders. It's a formidable weapon, one that many would argue should be banned outright. Yet recent events suggest otherwise, indicating that these undersea giants are still very much in operation. In a recent chilling event, a Russian Doomsday Submarine made its presence known in the Arctic. This submarine surfaced amid the ice for a few hours before slipping back into the watery abyss. This sighting was enough to raise eyebrows and stoke fears worldwide. To add to the intrigue, Russian President Vladimir Putin has been conspicuously absent from the public eye. Now, where could he possibly be? Could it be that he's hiding out in the eternal frost, surrounded by nuclear missiles? The suggestion alone is enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. So what exactly is this doomsday machine? It's the nuclear submarine BS-329 Belgorod. Initially, it was part of the Anti-project and was supposed to be relatively standard. Its closest counterpart is the Kursk submarine, which tragically sank in the Barents Sea in 2000. Whether the Kursk disaster influenced the engineers or some other unknown factor came into play, the Belgorod underwent significant modifications during its construction. A remarkable transformation took place in the submarine's central part, where the missiles were initially located. An additional 30-meter section was inserted, bringing the submarine's total length to a staggering 184 meters. This modification set a new record, making the Belgorod the longest submarine in existence. To help you visualize, imagine laying a 9-story building on its side, end to end, 6 times over. That's how massive the Belgorod is. Now, there's a sentiment among some experts that it would be ideal if the Belgorod were not operational until 2027. This sentiment underscores the sheer power and potential threat this submarine represents. At 184 meters long, it surpasses even the American Ohio-class submarines, which are currently considered the most powerful in the world. The Belgorod's size and capabilities make it a subject of intense scrutiny and concern on the global stage. But can Belgorod truly compete with the big players? The answer is, quite possibly, yes. This Russian submarine wasn't just elongated for breaking records, it was modified to accommodate the world's first stealth torpedoes armed with nuclear capabilities, along with sophisticated intelligence-gathering equipment. These aren't just any torpedoes, they're thermonuclear torpedoes, some of which aren't even confined within the submarine. Instead, they roam freely on the seabed, awaiting orders. Additionally, a unique compartment beneath the submarine can release repair drones to service these torpedoes, ensuring they remain operational. Strategic nuclear submarines can remain hidden on the ocean floor for weeks or even months, approaching within just a few kilometers of the American Atlantic or Pacific coastlines, ready to strike, some experts assert. Poseidon torpedoes, they argue, are not just theoretical. These torpedoes, capable of traveling hundreds of kilometers underwater, have the potential to cause nuclear tsunamis. Both American and Russian officials have acknowledged that these torpedoes could carry warheads of several megatons, creating massive radioactive waves that could render coastal areas uninhabitable for decades. Imagine a 20-meter underwater missile weighing 100 tons. It's a chilling thought, especially if such a weapon falls into the wrong hands. Moreover, the resurfacing of the Kursk in the Arctic might just be a strategic maneuver to divert the attention of the US military. On its journey, the Kursk was accompanied by 2 other submarines spotted traveling from St. Petersburg towards Antarctica. Their route took them through Estonia, Sweden, and Denmark. Occasionally, another object would flicker on the radar only to quickly vanish, which some dismissed as a software glitch. Yet, between Norway and the UK, 2 large underwater silhouettes were unmistakably identified. The Royal Navy swiftly embarked on an investigation and found the Russian submarines Severodvinsk and Vapor, which surfaced as if nothing had happened. Of course, this unexpected development did not sit well with the UK. The British military quickly intercepted the submarines and redirected them back towards Russian waters. This bold move created quite a stir, especially in the United States. The Americans immediately began tracking the submarines' movements and deployed drones for reconnaissance missions. In a dramatic turn of events, these drones eventually discovered the base of the so-called Doomsday Submarine, which was found on the surface in the Arctic, being resupplied by a Russian vessel. The discovery sent shockwaves through NATO, prompting an immediate military response. NATO dispatched its fleet to the waters closest to Russia, showing a formidable presence. The US alone deployed 23 ships to the Black Sea, a clear signal of its readiness to counter any potential threat. The incident, which began with just 2, possibly 3 submarines, escalated into a significant international crisis. The Belgorod is somewhere underwater, and its location remains unknown to us, a US naval officer commented, highlighting the mysterious nature of the situation. Severodvinsk and Dnieper are nuclear submarines, armed to the teeth with powerful torpedoes for destroying underwater targets and agile cruise missiles for engaging surface opponents. They are incredibly capable and very quiet, which is crucial in submarine warfare, he added. In previous years, nuclear submarines on interfleet transfers traveled on the surface along the Norwegian coast, possibly due to their lack of combat readiness. However, the Royal Navy has now confirmed that these submarines traveled underwater before surfacing, indicating their current state of combat readiness. The Russians have increased their presence in all waters around Europe and the Atlantic, the officer noted, pointing to a broader strategic pattern. Both Severodvinsk and Dnieper are equipped with nuclear reactors, allowing them to remain submerged for over 3 months. This capability raises questions about why such long-endurance submarines would surface prematurely, especially under the watchful eyes of Norwegian ships. There are 2 main theories: either the submarines do not meet their claimed capabilities, or their surfacing was a deliberate provocation. If the latter is true, the plan succeeded brilliantly. The sight of the submarines prompted the US to dispatch 24 of its finest ships to the waters near Russia, an action that did not go unnoticed by the Kremlin. Upon learning of the US fleet's movements, the Kremlin sounded the alarm. The presence of 23 battleships, including American missile destroyers like the USS Ross, a massive 154-meter steel behemoth bristling with advanced weaponry, posed a significant threat. The USS Ross and its counterparts are part of a formidable naval force, capable of projecting power and responding to threats with precision. This sequence of events underscores the delicate balance of power and the high stakes of international naval operations. The surfacing of Severodvinsk and Dnieper, whether a show of force or a strategic misstep, triggered a chain reaction that brought NATO and Russian forces into close proximity. The situation remains tense, with both sides on high alert, ready to respond to any further developments. The USS Ross, a formidable destroyer in the United States Navy, is equipped with at least 2 launch systems, boasting a total arsenal of 100 guided missiles. Each of these missiles is sophisticated, equipped with its own radar and homing head, allowing it to independently identify enemy targets and relay data to other missiles. This advanced system ensures that each target receives precisely the amount of explosive force needed for its destruction. In addition to its impressive missile capabilities, the USS Ross is armed with a 127mm Mark 45 artillery system. Each shot from this powerful gun can leave a significant crater in the ground, capable of collapsing even the strongest bunkers after just a few hits. For defense against aerial threats, the USS Ross is equally well prepared. It is outfitted with 2 25mm automatic guns and 4 large-caliber machine guns, capable of riddling any aircraft that dares to come within range. At the forefront of this anti-aircraft arsenal is the Phalanx CIWS, known as the fastest firing gun in the world. This system, often referred to as a pseudo-laser due to its rapid-fire capabilities, adds a formidable layer of defense to the ship's arsenal. The combined firepower of these weapons means that a single USS Ross could potentially destroy an entire enemy fleet, and the prospect of what 23 such ships could do is indeed terrifying. The USS Ross is not only equipped for surface and air combat, but is also prepared to handle underwater threats. It features 2 torpedo tubes designed to neutralize submarines, posing a significant risk to any Russian submarines that might come within range. Considering the current situation in Russia and the surrounding geopolitical tensions, one must carefully contemplate whether this truly represents the future of their country, is a statement that resonates in these times of naval power demonstrations. On the other side of the spectrum, we have Russia's only aircraft carrier, Admiral Kuznetsov, which is purportedly preparing to assist its submarine counterparts. However, in a surprising and critical moment, this crucial ship caught fire. This is not an isolated incident. Admiral Kuznetsov has suffered from various mishaps over the years, including a crane falling on it and a missile strike. The recent fire, though quickly extinguished, certainly caused panic and stress within the ranks, and serves as a potential point of humiliation for the Kremlin should another disaster occur. Admiral Kuznetsov is noteworthy for several reasons, starting with its sheer size. Measuring 300 meters in length and 72 meters in width, it is comparable to 3 football fields laid end to end. This massive ship is designed to carry 28 fighters and 24 combat helicopters, representing a substantial threat to any adversary. These aircraft are often equipped with the powerful hypersonic missile systems known as Kinzhal. Unlike many other warships in its class, Admiral Kuznetsov can defend itself effectively using these Kinzhal missiles. These missiles can achieve speeds of 4,000 meters per second, fly at altitudes of 20 kilometers, and deliver devastating strikes to key enemy positions. Despite its impressive capabilities, Admiral Kuznetsov and its hypersonic Kinzhal missiles are not invincible. They cannot counter the threat posed by nuclear submarines, which, even if old, can destroy this engineering marvel. The primary role of Admiral Kuznetsov is to bolster Russia's image as a formidable global power, comparable to the United States. This symbolic role is significant, although its operational effectiveness might be limited compared to newer technologies and strategies. An example of the threat posed to Admiral Kuznetsov by submarines is the K-19, a Soviet-era nuclear submarine. The K-19 was the first nuclear submarine equipped with ballistic missiles, serving as the Soviet Union's answer to the U.S. Navy's USS Nautilus. However, its production and testing were rushed, leading to numerous issues. Even its captain doubted its combat readiness. The K-19's operational history is fraught with problems, earning it the nickname of a ticking nuclear time bomb. In the spring of 1961, during exercises in the North Atlantic, the K-19 experienced a catastrophic failure when a coolant tube burst. This incident highlighted the inherent dangers and potential for disaster in rushing advanced military technology into service without adequate testing and preparation. The incident posed a significant danger, far greater than initially imagined. The K-19 submarine, operating near one of NATO's bases in the Atlantic Ocean, faced a potential disaster with an alarming angle of inclination that could reach 50 degrees. Such an angle would have been extremely hazardous, and an explosion, even if accidental, could have led the United States and its allies to believe that the Soviet Union was initiating a full-scale nuclear war. The gravity of the situation was immense. Upon discovering the leak, Captain Zateyev immediately took action. He asked for volunteers to enter the reactor compartment and fix the leak, fully aware of the dire consequences. The crew lacked sufficient protective gear, and everyone knew that whoever volunteered would likely not return. Despite this, 21 brave crew members stepped forward, ready to sacrifice their lives to prevent a catastrophe. These volunteers displayed extraordinary courage and selflessness in the face of imminent danger. Fortunately, the temporary cooling system the team rigged worked effectively. In a stroke of luck, the Russian ship S-270 appeared at the last moment and evacuated the crew. The K-19 submarine was then towed back to base. However, the engineering team who installed the improvised cooling device were exposed to significant doses of radiation through toxic gas and steam. This exposure ultimately cost the volunteers their lives within 2 years, despite averting a full-scale disaster. The bravery and sacrifice of these men cannot be overstated, as they saved countless lives and prevented a potential escalation into nuclear conflict. Despite the K-19 submarine returning to service a few months after the incident, misfortune seemed to follow it wherever it went. In 1969, the submarine collided with the American submarine USS Gato, highlighting the ongoing risks and tensions of underwater operations during the Cold War. Just 3 years later, another tragedy struck when a fire on board resulted in 32 casualties, adding to the vessel's troubled history. Ultimately, the power of the nuclear submarine fleet remains impressive, but what is its mission these days? This question lingers as we reflect on the intense history of these powerful vessels and their role in global military strategy. And that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you for watching all the way through. We would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and leave your comments on the video. Your feedback is invaluable to us. Have a great day and see you soon.